Do you want me to tweet it out?
Sure, yeah. We
Well,
are
we're
live now. What is going on? Honolulu Blues Nation, welcome in. We are joined today by special guest. No, not our other co-host, Nick Faber, but we are joined by Jonathan Blevins, the man himself, Bearded Blevins on Twitch. You might know him a little bit better. But Jonathan, what is going on? Thank you so much for joining in.
Dude, I'm so excited to be here. Go Lions. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely, man. So today we got a little Lions betting episode. We're going to be talking some Lions, some of their projections, what they could do this year. Maybe we'll help you make some money in the future, or maybe, our predictions will just, not come true. But anyways, Julius, what is going on, my man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to have our guy Bearded Blevins on today. Talk some Lions. It's been a while since we had a guest. It's the dog days of the summer right now in the off season, so it's always fun to talk about it.
It's crazy. Absolutely. It's crazy when I'm like excited to watch soccer more than any other sport at the moment.
The U.S. men's team. The U.S. men's team. Look out for them.
That was huge.
Electric. That was electric. They're starting to, maybe put something together in the Gold Cup at least. So
I love it.
Maybe it'll translate to the World Cup one day. But overall, before we get into some Lions talk, I just got some Fortnite questions, my guy. So
yeah,
all in all, I'm gonna spin it into a Lions-esque Fortnite question. But Jahmyr Gibbs, if he was a Fortnite weapon, what weapon would Jahmyr Gibbs be?
I love that question.
Any season too.
Any season
kind of widens it.
It does. I'm gonna take an old gun that they just brought back, and I think it's a really good comparison for who he is as a player. I'm gonna say the drum shotgun.
Oh,
so the drum shotgun, it packs a punch, and if you're accurate, it does a lot of damage, which I think he can do. Like he's gonna be a physical runner. A lot of the comps right now, people are saying like Alvin Kamara, who's an absolute stud. But he's also going to be super quick, and that drum shot he fires quick. I'm thinking like a mix between Swift and really kind of like Swift and Williams combined into one. And so I'm super pumped. And see what I did there? Pump, shotty, drum. I'm gonna say drum. I'm gonna say drum shotty.
I like it. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's kind of like that bam, 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 bam. Like don't stop, keep punching in the face and over, till the job gets done. So. All in all, I agree with you right there. Julius, any thoughts on Jahmyr Gibbs being, the drum shotgun?
I like that choice. I could see Jahmyr Gibbs, taking a screen 60 yards. I also used to think I could see DeAndre Swift doing that. He just didn't stay on the field often enough.
Yeah.
So that might a broken drum shotgun might be a good comp for Swift, but that's neither here nor there. I like the comp.
You guys remember Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears a handful of years ago? Javid Best. Remember that screen he took the Monday Night Ford Field all the way to the house? It might have been a run. It was a screen. Either way. I see that with Gibbs, but like every other week.
I agree. And just like these first 6 weeks too, he's going to be real juiced up. And then once J-Mo comes in, like I feel like defenses are going to be so confused on who do I cover, because both are speed demons, and a lot of people don't know. A quick little stat on Jahmyr Gibbs: he clocked in a speed of it was like I think 22 or 21.3 miles per hour at Alabama last year, and that would have been the fastest speed in the NFL. So the fastest one was I think Paris Campbell at like 22.1 or 21.1, but it was 0.1 to 0.3. So Gibbs just had him beat, but it would have been the fastest. So he's got some wheels.
That is wild.
Great.
But let's talk a little Lions betting. As of now, they're projected to win 9.5 games. Jonathan, do you feel that's about right? Too low, too little?
It's funny because I feel like the expectation this year needs to be like it's not like it should be. The expectation this year is to win the division. To get a home playoff game and to win at least one. I feel like that is the expectation. If it happens, we celebrate it. We hopefully move even a step forward next year. And if you win a home playoff game, that there's a chance you get to the Super Bowl. So that'll be fun for the season. 9 games isn't going to do that. It could, but I don't think it will. But at the same time, I keep telling people that my floor is 9 and my ceiling is 12 or 13. And so it's kind of, for me saying that, it's kind of perfect at 9.5. As much as I hate to say it.
I agree though. It's not disrespecting us, which I like, because I feel like if they would have said anything under, honestly, probably 9.5. If it would have been 9, I would have felt like, okay,
Yeah.
we could win one more game than we did last year. Like, come on now. But a 9.5, all right, it's 10 essentially. So I'll take it. I'll take it. I believe it's like it's pretty even money. It's like minus 110. Julius, is this one of the more enticing bets, or are you trying to look for a longer shot at some of these other bets we'll get to?
I remember last year about this time, the Lions over under at wins were like 4.5 or 5, and I remember they were like the most popular bet, to go over on that to possibly win the division. I remember guys were betting the Lions to win the division. But for betting purposes, 9 wins this year is kind of too close call for me injury-wise, because that's the main component that you really can't control in the NFL is injuries. And I don't want to put that stamp on the Lions yet or any team, because it happens to every team. But for betting purposes, for my money being spent and wagered, I don't think that's too spicy of a bet this year.
Yeah, it's pretty safe. One spicy bet, if we're going to get a little spicy, conference. Lions win the conference. We do have the 4th best odds, the NFC, at plus 900. But Jonathan, is this something that, you might little sprinkle on, think about playing?
I don't love the super huge futures bets because I just get really impatient and it's hard for me to wait that long. But I probably will throw a 10 or a 20 on them to do that. Because it's fun. It's fun to cheer for, and you never know. Like, are the Niners and the Eagles head over heels better than the Lions right now? I do think so. I think we can beat them. We can beat anybody, right? And when you're in the NFL, when you're an above-average team, which I think the Lions are, I would even say they're a good team. You can beat anybody. But man, if the Niners had a QB, they'd be favored to win the Super Bowl, right? They'd be favored over the Chiefs if they had Goff. They'd probably be favored to win the Super Bowl. So, but again, like Julius said, like if an injury happens to the Cowboys or to the Eagles or the Niners, all of a sudden we're front runners. 10, 15, 20 is about what I would do for now at those odds.
I agree. And then like you're saying, 49ers, Eagles, Cowboys, whoever, the NFC, we can hang with them all. And we're going to have a great chance to show it week 1 against the Chiefs. I think this is probably the most exciting game of the year. This or, maybe one of the other primetime games, because haven't had a lot of prime times lately, but ultimately -7 on this game. Julius, do you think the Lions cover a 6.5 to 7 point spread against the Chiefs?
I do. I would take that bet. It's not too spicy at all. You're right. This is the game we most look forward to because it's the Super Bowl champions test week 1 on the road. Like it's the ultimate test immediately. So, even if they don't lose, even if they lose, I think they cover. So I like that a lot.
I agree. And the Lions were one of the better teams against the spread last year, going 10-7. I think it was second best, I believe, on all NFL teams. So they were covering a lot more times than not, which it's hard to do. So the Lions, I do feel like if we do lose this game, it'll be a shootout. It'll be close. It'll be one of those Mahomes walks down the field, and I don't think we'll be, it'll be a tie game where a touchdown puts it at 7. I think it will be, the Lions will have a 1, 2, 3 point lead, whatever. And then Mahomes comes out and beats the Lions by 4 or 5, something like that. So, Jonathan, you think the Lions can hang with the Chiefs, or is this a little spicy?
You know what, dude? I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing in this game will surprise me. Nothing. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions lose by 40. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions win by 40. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes to overtime. Nothing will surprise me in this game. It's week 1. Everyone's going to be getting the jitters out. You think about last year. We opened up the season against the Eagles. We were at home, but that's 38-35. We lost by 3 points to the Super Bowl, losers. We're better now. We're objectively a better team this year on our roster than we were last year. And we're objectively better week 8 last year than we were week 1. Can you say that the Chiefs have a better roster right now than they did when they won the Super Bowl? I don't know, man. Like, they're the Chiefs still. Don't get me wrong. They're still the best. They're the Kings until they're decrowned. But, dude, I think, yeah, we can hang and we can win. I would if I'm having fun betting this game, I'm honestly teasing it a little bit and going Lions -4.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. That will definitely be some juicy odds if you're taking Lions as the favorites.
Yeah, you're taking some juice there, dude.
Which, if the Lions win, I think it'll be like 4 or 5 points. It's not going to be Jared Goff, 1 point squeaking out. Honey Badger is drawing a blank on our kicker. Honey Badger kicking a last-second field goal. I think Lions, if we win this game, it's going to be a solid, not like beatdown, but like it'll be over 3 points. It'll be over the home team spread cover, I guess.
Yep. And what you need for that to happen in the NFL, especially away, is you need an amazing offensive line that is in sync, that isn't going to get phased by the crowd. And dude, if we don't have that, nobody has that in the NFL right now.
And honestly, one of the better things about the Lions right now, going into that game week 1, is we just came off a huge primetime game in Green Bay, dethroning Rodgers on his, homecoming playoff, whatever, last hurrah. And the Lions, showed up. So it let not just the fans know, but the team themselves know that they can hang on primetime in these, games where everyone's watching, all eyes on us. We're not same old Lions. We're going to make it work and, get the job done.
Yep. Can't wait, man.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Back to some of these other bets. One of the biggest bets out there, Lions are plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl. I did sprinkle on this, not at plus 2,500. I think at plus 4,500 when it first Super Bowl odds came out a while back. Threw $25 on them. I've told myself with the Lions win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna make some money off of it. I'm gonna be betting this every single year until it hits. Hopefully, I don't get, the thing I don't want is the Lions to, make the Super Bowl, lose, and then be a hefty favorite or something that next year. And I don't really get to get a big bang for my buck. But ultimately, we have the 9th best odds in the NFL. Jonathan, is this the best odds or even, the best Lions team that you've, seen or felt for a Super Bowl run?
I mean, it's up there, dude. I love Goff. I really do. And I'm a Goff defender. I'm a Goff truther. I think he can get us there. He got the Rams there. But man, if we had Stafford right now, I'm betting everything I got on the Lions this year. Just because he has that instinct. He's got that fourth quarter, that dog in him. He's ready to go. And I'm not saying Goff doesn't, because dude, Goff is a silent, but strong leader. That team believes in him. Man, but he is our team good enough for him to take us there? I don't know. I think our defense is still 1 year away, maybe. But man, our offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson's so good. Goff played unbelievable. I mean, Goff was top 5 in almost every single statistical category that matters last year, which not a lot of people know. So it's tough. Can they do it? Sure they can. I mean, they almost beat the Eagles last year. Week 1, and the Eagles made it. So sure, I'm not putting more than 25 on it.
I agree. It's nothing, go crazy on, but it is something where if it does hit, that night the Lions win the Super Bowl with that extra cash in your pocket, whoo, that'll be fun. Yeah. So
now let me real quick. Let me take complete analysis in my brain. Let me take my brain out of it and just talk. I'm from Detroit, but I live in Chicago. I remember a couple years ago, dude, when the Cubs won their first World Series in over 100 years. Dude, I do have that feeling with the Lions this year, that magical feeling that I know a lot of my Cub fan friends had before that season started. And the Cubs were good for sure, but a lot of people weren't picking them to win the World Series, and they did it. There's a lot of things happening in the world that make me think the Lions do make a playoff run this year for sure.
Man, I hope so. But
I mean, it feels special. You're right. But the Cubs, I mean, did they really think they were going to win it that year? Was it like this
that was
year?
A weird year.
Yeah. Because Cubs fans, they were I think they were kind of hopeless at a point until they made the playoffs. I feel like we need to take it a step at a time. The Lions win a division. I mean, we're already hyped. The Lions win a division, the city is going to lose their minds.
Yeah.
They win one playoff game, the world is going to lose their minds.
Yeah.
If they march to the Super Bowl, it'd be the biggest story in maybe the history of sports.
I mean, dude, it's a top. No, hey, no exaggeration, Julius. It's a top 5 story in sports. The first time we made the Super Bowl, guaranteed.
For sure, 21st century top 5.
It's insane. I mean, when you tell like little kids, I love doing it all the time. My girlfriend's got a 9-year-old brother, so his buddies, I like to tell them, you know, the Lions have won one playoff game, just one, and they're like, one Super Bowl? Is that a Super Bowl? And I'm like, no. That's like one little tiny piece of a way to get to the Super Bowl. So, yes, Julius, if the Lions win the division or win a playoff game or both, oh my goodness, we're going to be, betting favorites, not just because Vegas will believe in us, but because every damn Detroiter, every damn Michigander will be betting on the Detroit Lions once they show that first playoff win or clinching the NFC North. Whatever it is, I think once it happens, there's going to be a huge wave of just like Lions fans like, you know what? We are back. Because honestly, I'm still one of my managers at work. His motto is, I'm not following the Lions until they win a Super Bowl. Now, it seems a little drastic, but it got me thinking. There's probably a lot of other people out there that are just after the Millen eras, after the Patricia eras, they're like, I'm done wasting my time with this team. So after they hear, oh, this Lions team is legit, they're proving it. They're winning games. They're making the playoffs.
They're not waiting on the Super Bowl. They're waiting on the division and the playoff win, because that's when everybody be on board. The whole world will be cheering for the Lions, okay? Everybody that's not a Packer fan or a Bear fan or a Viking fan will be cheering for the Lions.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, speaking of Bears fans, Jonathan, I got to imagine some of your buddies out in Chicago. Are they Bears fans? Is it tough out there?
Dude, I was born in Detroit, lived there till I was 7, moved to Chicago until I was 20, lived in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, which is 45 minutes from Green Bay, married someone from Green Bay, and worked there for, 5, 6, 7 years. So most of my friends are Bear fans or Packer fans, and it's funny because the Packer fans are nice. Like, they're kind of like, man, the Lions have never really been a threat. So they're kind of nice. Like, oh, it's cute, that you guys exist and still cheer for your team. Bear fans are just mean though, dude. Like, they're mean, and like, they don't have that much more to brag about than we do. One Super Bowl, like the last 25 years, we've basically been the same outside of their Super Bowl run where they lost to Peyton Manning and the Colts. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough being friends with a lot of Bear fan and Packer fans.
That's what I was just saying. Me and Julius, we especially have a little, not like running joke, but it's kind of true. We just hate Bears fans, and they just always love to grind and get our nerves. And we do have a few Bears friends that are, funny and good. But all in all, it's the Justin Fields hype, man. They just think this guy is going to be the new Patrick Mahomes, and me and Julius are just clamoring, waiting for week probably like 3, 4, where Bears fans will be like, well, he needs another weapon. If he could just get DeAndre Hopkins.
Listen, the Bears are pretty much the Lions if we won a Super Bowl in the 80s. That's pretty much who the Bears are right now.
Right.
So there's a lot of connection with the Bears fan base and the Midwest rivalry. It's pretty cool.
So you guys aren't. You don't think Justin Fields is him, huh?
I think he is one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. Yeah, I really do.
Jeez. I'm with you. He has a lot to prove in the passing game, but he has a cannon. He just has to be accurate with it.
Marcus Russell had a cannon too.
Right. RG3 had a little bit of a cannon.
Michael Vick, he had a cannon.
Mike McMahon. Oh man, but see, I don't know. I think I do worry that Fields is gonna find his way in the next few years and make the Lions' life not so fun.
I agree. I feel a lot of Cam Newton vibes from Justin Fields. I feel like he's going to have like a 3 or 4 year Cam Newton MVP reign. And I don't know when it's coming. I don't know if it's this year or what, but
I agree. I see it both. I hate to talk Bears to Justin Fields, but yes, there is an avenue, a pathway where he could actually be a Lamar Jackson, a Cam Newton, a feasible running quarterback that makes it work. And if they put the tools together, I think it can happen. But as of now, I just don't think they've given him enough. I think they're going to kind of screw themselves in a sense of they're going to keep trying to give him chances, and he's going to do okay because he needs someone over the top, like what Jalen Hurts got in A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, and there's tons of other examples, Tyreek Hill, etc. And he got DJ Moore. Not a knock on DJ Moore, but I think they needed an elite wide receiver one, an elite. They lost a superstar in Dave Montgomery, who is now Detroit Lion, as we all know.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do much. They brought in old man Donta Foreman, and that was pretty much it. So I'm excited. I hope this Justin Fields experiment just gets like strung along where, you know, they give him another chance. And by the time it comes, it's year 5 and they're freaking out. We don't know if we should pick up his 5th year or what. So I hope the Bears go into some Bears hell with Justin Fields.
I'm with you, man.
But while we're talking division, we are the favorites at plus 145. No heavy favorite, but we still are the favorites. It's interesting because the Lions have not been a favorite to win the division, to win much lately. So to win the division, it's nice to see that for once. And I think we have the stars are aligned. Aaron Rodgers left. The Bears aren't really doing much. And Kirk Cousins just cannot win the big game. So with all that going on, I think the Lions have their best opportunity to, you know, make it work. So Julius, do you think, you know, the Lions can pull off the division win? And do you think plus 145 is reasonable odds for this?
I definitely think they can pull off the division, even though they've never won it since it's been called the North. They have to win it first, but I believe they can because I don't believe in the other 3 teams in the division. I think Green Bay is going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Literally, I think that their Jordan Love experiment is going to fail and they're going to win like 5 games, 6 games max. Then the Bears, they're kind of like, well, the Vikings in 3rd place, I would say. I think the Vikings are going to fall off this year. They lost so many pieces on defense. Their offensive line is questionable. They lost Dalvin Cook. It's pretty much the Justin Jefferson show, and I don't think they can get that far with that. And then we have the Chicago Bears, who are like the wild card here because they did add to what they had last year, even though what they had last year resulted in the worst record in football. Is it enough to propel them to challenge Detroit? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I feel like the Lions are one of the safest division picks in the league this year, and I would bet that. I would definitely bet $50 on it.
Interesting. What are some of your thoughts, Jonathan? Do you think plus 145 is, you know, Vegas was being fair with us, or do you think they should be, you know, something a little more favorable, like a minus 110?
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that it wasn't like a minus 110. So I love the plus 145. I love that because
exactly.
I really do feel like I said earlier on, it is our division to lose. That's it. That's the expectation. And a lot of Vikings fans are like, oh man, you know, Minnesota, it's our crown to lose because we won last year. It's like, dude, like that team, we all saw what happened. I'm not going to go so far as to call them frauds. But dude, they got smoked. They got smoked by Green Bay late in the season. We beat them the last time we played. We should have beaten the first time we played them. We smoked the Giants. They lost the Giants at home, man. If like I would literally rather not make the playoffs this year than lose to this year's Giants in Detroit at our first home field playoff game since '91. So so it's embarrassing.
You know what's hilarious is I got into a huge heated debate with a Vikings fan on how our season ended better than theirs. And he was like, no, we made the playoffs. And I kept telling him, but you lost a home playoff game. I don't know how that's
to Daniel Jones.
Exactly.
Like that game was crazy. And Kirk Cousins had every chance. I mean, he didn't even play that bad. The defense was horrible. But man, they should have won that game. So for me, dude, I'm probably thinking it goes Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. And nothing would really surprise me with the bottom 3. But here's the thing, to Julius's point earlier. We lose Jared Goff, we're a 2-win team.
You're right.
We're a 2-win team all year long if we lose him. Like our guy from Tennessee, Hooker's not ready yet. That's what I've heard at least. That he's not ready to play. That's more of a future pick. I don't even know who our other back is. It Nate Sudfeld still?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, no offense to Nate. Like, we are in shambles if Goff gets hurt. Yeah. So that's tough. Like, we gotta fix our QB room until Hooker is ready to go. But yeah, dude, the plus 145. I'm with Julius, bro. I'll throw a 50 on that.
Oh yeah.
And then, yeah, you're pretty close. Next up, Vikings plus 270. Packers are in 3rd with plus 350. And then the Bears are in last place at 420, plus 420. That has flip-flopped a bit. The Bears and Packers have gone back and forth to fight for 3rd to last or second to last, yes. But Before we wrap it up here, I'm going to get some award props. These are mostly long shots, as you know, Jared Goff is unlikely MVP, but plus 2,500 might be able to. Tied for 12th best odds. You never know. Also, Amon-Ra plus 4,000. Also, I'm just going to go through these. If you guys feel like any of them are interesting, let me know.
This is MVP for the whole season.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Hutchinson plus 3,000 for Defensive Player of the Year. This one is probably the most interesting and probably the best bet out there. Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year, has the best odds out there. He is the favorite at plus 1,000. Not much of a favorite, but he still is the favorite out there. Dan Campbell made a couple strides last year and was kind of, I think he was the favorite for a minute when Lions had that hot streak right before the Panthers game. And then he kind of took a step back, and I don't know who won it. But anyways, Dan Campbell, plus 1,000 win Coach of the Year. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, plus 1,100 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. That is that is the fifth best out of all the rookies. I think only Bijan, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, and JSN have better odds than he does. So, boys, start with you first, Jonathan. Any of those, awards sound, interesting, at least? Not something you bet on, but, something you look at.
Yeah, I mean, the Dan Campbell Coach of the Year one is one I wouldn't, only because that's just anything could happen. You could get the Houston Texans could win 7 or 8 games, and whoever the heck their coach is wins that award because everyone has them winning 1 or 2. Or if the Cardinals somehow turn their expectations around like that, so the Coach of the Year one's always tough for me. But Dan Campbell's a stud, so it won't surprise me if the Lions have a winning record. He'll be up there top 5 for sure. So I wouldn't love that one, man. If I'm thinking MVP, Goff has a shot, he really does, because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And if the Lions end up, y'all know this, man, when teams do well and they win, QBs get the credit. So if we are going to have a winning season, absolutely Goff's going to be in the conversation. But I think the one that intrigues me the most is give me Gibbs, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And man, give me Gibbs, if it's even possible to bet on it. Give me Offensive Player of the Year. Because I'm telling you, dude, Jameson Williams being out for those 6 weeks, like you mentioned earlier, Adam, that is big. You're gonna see Ben Johnson. That ball's gonna go all over the place, and it's gonna go all over the place to Gibbs. I think he could have 1,000 all-purpose yards by week 7 or 8. And I think he could be a monster. If he stays healthy, he could be an absolute monster. And I'm super pumped. I mean, there's a reason we drafted him when we did. They didn't draft him so that they could sit him down and treat him the way they treated Swift last year, even though Swift was kind of hurt. They drafted him to use him, and I think it could be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And, honestly, my brain just put me in a little spiral here. Do you think the Lions were aware of Jameson Williams' situation before the Gibbs pick, where they knew we're about to lose this guy? I don't know how many games, but it's something.
I think they did. I think they did know before.
When's the draft is April, right?
Yeah, it was a couple months before it all broke.
I mean, they absolutely could have, dude, because just a couple weeks, like a month or 2 ago, they were like, there's more news that's going to drop. And then it took another month or 2 to come out. So there's absolutely a chance that they knew.
So, and if that's the case, and they're like, we got to get this Gibbs kid out of Alabama, and Ben Johnson was like, yes, then
line him up anywhere.
Absolutely. Julius, any of these award props stand out to you?
MVP, definitely not. Amon-Ra, I believe in him. Aiden Hutchinson is a spicy bet for Defensive Player of the Year because he could get unleashed. Comeback Player of the Year, I could definitely see Tracy Walker being a dark horse there, because he's going to come into that secondary. It's going to be a completely different secondary than he had last year and the year before when he was eating good. It's completely different. He's going to have way more help, and he can just bust out of there. Definitely Jahmyr Gibbs, Offensive Rookie of the Year, is the best bet, I would say. Isn't it so different how it feels? Jahmyr Gibbs. Remember when we drafted Swift and we were losing our minds live on a podcast, like we had just drafted the next Barry Sanders, but Patricia and them were all like, "Oh, he's a young back. We're gonna bring him on slow. Kind of have a committee room." This feels like we drafted like a high price free agent. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, Blevins, like he's going to come in right. He was drafted to play week 1, be one of the stars of our offense. And I could definitely see him running away with that award just off usage. And that's the big fantasy radar right there, Jahmyr Gibbs. Non-Lions fans might not be too privy, but when the fantasy drafts come around, if you see that guy sitting there in the 3rd round, I would pounce.
I agree with you 100%, Julius. Jahmyr Gibbs, like we were just saying, he could be a secret weapon for the Lions. Maybe not, the back half of the season, but all you have to do as a rookie is get that, that gap, show you're a stud, early on, and you kind of will be up in there. So even if, Gibbs doesn't win it, I think he's got a shot to, finish top 3 or even 2nd, and you could hedge out, cash out, whatever. So plus 1,100 right now, solid odds. I will say, one of my favorite bets on here, as I was scrolling through all these crazy FanDuel bets, they got a whole Lions dedicated section to all these different Lions prop bets. It's crazy what they've done, and shame on like the NFL for suspending James Williams and all that situation. And it's just like, this is just so silly.
They promote it like it's the face of the league. But
it's just, I think, I don't know. It's a whole different story about his suspension and not knowing the official rules and how they asked, multiple veterans. They're like, yeah, I didn't even know that rule either. But I think it was just J-Mo, wrong place, wrong time. He's a young kid, grew up in sports gambling. I guarantee one of his boys was like, hey, man, I'll hook you up. I'll give you – sign up on my promo and we'll get, $100 free or whatever. But probably not. Anyways, the Lions bet I love the most. Plus 2,000. To sweep the NFC North. So beat the Vikings, Bears, and Packers both twice. Plus 2,000. Pretty good odds. We went 5-1 last year, and we kind of botched the Vikings game. So it is doable. I don't see, Jordan Love as a legit threat. Don't see Justin Fields as a legit threat. And Kirk Cousins, they don't have Dalvin Cook anymore, and he seemed to be our kryptonite for quite some time. So, like you're saying, Julius, with just Justin Jefferson, I think they're going to be a lot watered down. So, we'll start with you first, Jonathan. Plus 2,000 to sweep the NFC North. Is this something that you could get on board with?
As I said earlier, I don't usually bet more than 10, 15, 20, 25 on a future. This is probably, of all the ones you've mentioned, the one that I would consider throwing a hundo on. And just having a lot of fun with it. I mean, the probably the most difficult game that comes to mind is going to be that one of those last 2 games against the Vikings late in the season. Things could matter for both of us. It's not fun to play in that stadium. It gets loud. Viking fans are pretty great, but I'm not worried about it. The other one is at Green Bay on prime time, 7:15 p.m. September 28th. It's just, again, not an easy place to play. But we proved we could play there. It will not be as crazy as it was at the end of the season last year. The crowd will not. I've been to that stadium a ton of times. They get up in the playoffs, and that's about it. So I love this bet. I would consider a hundo on that.
Ooh, I like it.
By the way, we are sweeping the Bears. If I make one guarantee on this podcast, it will be that we are sweeping the Bears this year, and neither game will be close.
We better, man. We better. I don't want to just sweep them. I want to just spank them. I want Aiden Hutchinson to have 6 total sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, something ridiculous.
Exactly.
Julius, you think the Lions will have any type of trouble sweeping the NFC North? And if we do, are you on board with what Jonathan was saying with maybe some Green Bay struggles?
I can see the Bears still in one at Soldier Field, depending on the weather, depending on if our defensive ends learn to contain him. Because I think we forget one of the main early storylines of the season was that the Lions were the worst team in NFL history at stopping running quarterbacks.
Yep.
So until I see that change, I'm just guess that Justin Fields can score points on us. So, like I said, I'm kind of iffy about this bet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I thought you'd be all over this.
And then, the history of Lambeau too. It's just like a weather thing. I think about the weather. I think weather has such an effect. These northern teams like Chicago and Green Bay that play outdoors sucks to play there. It sucks to play there. November, it could be like 20 degrees and blizzarding. Like, you never know. So I'll be kind of hesitant with these outdoor away games sweeping the division, even though I think it's very much possible.
It's going to be tough, not going to lie. But if there was any season, any Lions team, I think it would be right now. I agree with you, Jonathan. We played the Vikings 2 out of the last 3 weeks, and that Week 18 game, it could get tricky. If we have everything locked up and the Lions, do win those first 5 games, we might bench our starters and, just roll with Sudfeld, Hooker, maybe not the whole game, but if we bench them the second half, I would not be shocked to see the Vikings win a game where I wouldn't be shocked, again, where they would need to win the game to make the playoffs. So it would be some sort of, Lions win, lose, doesn't matter, but the Vikings win and get some sort of help, they could squeak in the playoffs. So that is one little worrisome.
I could see that. I do think that the hardest part of our schedule, we don't know this, right? Because we looked at our schedule last year and we were at like a top 5 easiest schedule in the league. And by the end of the season, when it all shook out, we had like a top 5 hardest. So you never know. But like from last year, we could start the season 2-4 and still win 12 games. I mean, that's how crazy our schedule is right now. Like it's pretty front loaded compared to at least with the records last year, but we'll see, man. I'm excited. The NFC North is ours, baby.
I agree. Lions will claim the North, but that should do it for the Lions betting episode that we had today. Jonathan, let the people know what's going on in your life. Let them know what projects you got, where we can find you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. It's Bearded Blevins on every single social media. I'm actually launching a couple of podcasts coming up here in the next month, so check that out. Twitter at Bearded Blevins is the best place to learn more about that. And if you can find a bet with Aiden Hutchinson getting an over/under of interceptions, I haven't seen it yet, but if you find it, smash the over, baby, because I think Hutch gets 2 to 3 more picks this year. No joke.
I like it.
That'd be lovely.
That's spicy. They don't have an interception package, but they do have his sack total. It's set at 10, minus 195. Seems a little rich.
That's respect. That's respect.
I'm taking the under every time. I mean, I can't
sure.
Yeah, but that's a lot.
I agree. I think Hutch is going to be, me and Nick, he said that he thinks he's going to be more of a, all-around ball player. Or no, I said that he was going to be all-around ball player. I'm sorry. Nick said that he's going to be the sack master, take the next jump, and become a Bosa-like guy. So either way, it wouldn't shock me. But for me, I think Hutchinson, he's going to be all-around. He's not going to have as many opportunities, but he'll still have plenty to get his sacks. But ultimately, I think he will be just an all-around elite defender, wreaking havoc.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for coming on, man. I'll see you at the parade.
Hey, man, sounds good. I'm going to be at a couple of Lions games this year too, fellas, so let me know if you want to hang out and grab a beer beforehand.
Absolutely.
For sure. We'll be all over Twitter all year, so can't wait to talk Lions with you again.
Sounds good, my guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. As always, go